So you guys ready to meet the cast? You ready for everybody to come out here? Now, we've got everybody here today, so this is going to be great. And I have to tell you, I'm such a fan of the show, and I'm excited to introduce each one of them, so I have a little something to say about every single one of them, by the way. So the first guy, every time he comes on the screen, I find myself like gripping the side of my chair or leaning in a little more because I'm waiting for one of Jeff Meacham's one-liners, right? Doesn't he give the best ones? He definitely does. So everybody, please put your hands together for Jeff Meacham. He plays Josh of Stevens and Lido. Hey, Jeff, of course, of course. He's so cute, too. Like Jeff, I think that Mr. Stevens has some great one-liners. And I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I think one of my favorite scenes ever in the 2 seasons of Blackish is when Peter Mckenzie is describing why church is like a mistress. Going to church is like getting a mistress. I swear I've watched it about 10 times. I laugh so hard. He is so good, and he is the Stevens in Stevens and Lido. Please, everyone, welcome Peter Mckenzie. Hi, darling. You know, it's interesting because I like to call Peter Mckenzie a scene stealer, but I couldn't really do that this time because when I announced this next woman, she is the scene stealers of all scene stealers. And I think you all know who I'm talking about. I tell you, from the minute she joined this cast and joined the show, I think it elevated this show beyond belief. She is the mother-in-law that we all pray that we never, ever, ever get. But we love that she's here with us now. Please welcome with me Jennifer Lewis, everybody. Save me, Black Jesus. Yeah. We so love Jennifer. I think a lot of you are like me and you grew up, you know, around your grandparents a lot. And I think one of the things my grandmother always said was, ooh, that one has been here before. So the first time I met this little lady, that's exactly what I said. Ooh, she has been here before. To me, she's kind of the MVP in whatever she does. And I tell you what, I'm a little bit biased when it comes to Marsai Martin because I just adore this little girl. And she's so, so good. So everybody, please welcome the Diane in Jack and Diane, Marsai Martin. So cute. Hi, baby. Just adorable, isn't she? Now, the first time that I met this little guy and he smiled at me, I melted. I'm serious. I melted. He, to me, is perfection in a little bitty package. And what I'm now learning about Miles Brown is that he's a serious triple threat. I didn't know this kid can do anything. He's so talented, and yes, he's here too. Please welcome the Jack in Jack and Diane, Miles Brown. Look at him, see? Get it. Here's a little ditty about Jack and Diane. Okay, so if I was a 15-year-old little girl, no, actually, when I was a 15-year-old little girl, Andre Johnson Jr. was my boo. I'm telling you. I love the awkwardly awesome little guys, and he is that and more. You know, I just love this guy so much. He plays Junior to perfection with all of his weirdness that just makes it so good, right? Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marcus Scribner. Look at him. You don't look weird today. You look good in your blue, baby. Look at you. So many times we hear people, especially in the, see what I'm talking about? So many times in this business we hear people talk about somebody having the it factor, right? And I don't know if I've ever really understood what exactly it is, but when I met Yara Shahidi, that's exactly how I felt about her. I believe she's the next big thing. I think she's on the cusp of being a superstar. And I tell you what, I just adore how she plays Zoe, who is so unbothered. It is the best thing ever. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Yara Shahidi. And yes, I love the outfit today, right? It's fantastic. Okay, so I need to take a pause for a second before I introduce this next lady because she just is everything to me. She really, really is. You know, it's not often that I think actresses have a career where they have two iconic characters that they play in their lifetime. And for me, Tracee Ellis Ross has definitely done that. Don't you think? We loved her. We fell in love with her when she was Joan on Girlfriends. And now Rainbow has just kind of gotten into our heartbeat. And she's going to stay there for a very long time. And by the way, I've got a girl crush. I definitely do. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rainbow Johnson, Tracee Ellis Ross. Fabulous. Okay, so what I knew about Anthony Anderson before this show started was this. I respected the fact that he had been in this business for a very long time, that he had been working and relevant and all of those good things, and I thought he was really, really funny. What I've learned about Anthony Anderson since this show started, this man is the truth. He is I know, right? He's so supremely talented. It blows my mind because once again, he can do just about anything, and he is downright funny. By the way, he's becoming a mogul too because not only does he star as Dre Johnson, he's an executive producer of this series as well. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anthony Anderson. You look beautiful, baby. You know, I could list all of the achievements of Jonathan Groff and we'd be here for days. But the coolest thing to me, Jonathan Groff, who's an executive producer of this series, is a 5-time Jeopardy champion. Isn't that bananas? That is so cool. So please, everybody, give a warm welcome to Jonathan Groff.
I love that. So funny.
Of course. All right, last but certainly not least, I'm not sure I can just call him the creator and executive producer anymore because, hello, we got a star cameo in this episode from Mr. Kenya Barris, didn't we? All right, not only do I think he's brilliant and has this mind that I just want to sit and pick his brain and figure out how he puts these things together, but I'm just a fan of his. I think he's fantastic, and I'm so glad that he and Anthony and all these guys came up with this show, sitting around talking about why they're the same and why they're different, and now we have this magnificent show, Blackish. Everybody, please welcome Kenya Barris. Hi, baby. You're so sweet. Come on in. I kind of want to start with the episode that we just saw, and I know everybody was watching backstage. It was really funny. Everyone was laughing a lot. I feel like I know I have, but I don't know if everyone else in the audience has had that experience of either having that parent who tried to live vicariously through you, whether it was athletics or academics or whatever, or maybe a lot of you are that parent that has done that. So I want to kind of ask Kenya and Anthony, are you all that dad? Are you that dad?
I like to embarrass my children. So.
Wow.
Yes, it's not necessarily that, I live vicariously through them. I just like to have fun because I'm a big kid myself. So I am the father who will start the cheering and the cheerleading. And I do the splits. I do the flips.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, that's the kind of father that I am.
Absolutely, Kenya. I mean, because I know that a lot of these episodes are born from experiences that you guys have had and loosely based on your life. So are you really that coach that is just a big baby?
No, my daughter Leia played, actually Lola, big basketball player, she played, and we had that coach. We loved him to death, but we were like, is he not talking to you during timeouts? Is he mad at you? So that's where it came from. But no, I do not live vicariously through my kids all the time. But I do have moments. But we honestly, it is an aggregate of all of our experiences.
Yeah.
And we've all had those moments where we want our kids to be things that we know we really couldn't be. Mm-hmm. And so that was sort of a little bit of a love letter to that parent.
Yeah, and so did you all get that message? All you parents, stop. By the way, we were laughing at this backstage, but I kind of felt like there was once again, a message in this episode, and it didn't miss me with who, by the way, the basketball player who was Yara's younger brother in the episode.
Yes, he's here. Where is he? Stand up.
Yeah,
Stand up, Yara Shahidi.
where is he?
Oh, he's right there.
There you are. But when Jack was saying, you know, my parents brought me these new shoes and put his spiffy new shoes up, and then the other kid says, I cut mine down from a power line. We laughed at that, but I still felt like, you know, in one scene he also said, you know, I'm hungry, literally. That there was still a little bit of a sneak message in there that we were learning.
I think for us, that was a really big part of it started off as a little bit of, we wanted to take a look at AAU basketball and these club teams, and it is becoming something other than we all grew up with.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things we try to do in the show is sort of pull the curtain back, you know, on these types of things. And one of the things that when you look at the Drew League is a really big league in Compton and where a lot of the kids go, but you see this sort of really homogenized white kids from the Valley, white kids from Brentwood, black kids from the hood, like all playing this place because this is where the best come. And we felt like, let's tell this story. This is the part of the story that hasn't been told. So I kind of think that's what we really try to do is to say, how can we pull the curtain back on something that people kind of know about but don't quite know about from this family's perspective.
Yeah, I love that. This is more for Jonathan and Kenya. This episode did feel, of course, lighter than the last new episode we've seen, Hope, which was so powerful in so many different ways. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Believe that. We're going to get into that deep. Was that by design? Did you want to like pull it back a little bit for the next episode that people saw?
Well, I don't think we'll do an episode again. There's no episode like that episode, Hope. That was, you know, unique to some extent. And I think we by the nature of the episode order, we just would have something a little lighter coming up because we're trying to be really funny all the time. That's sort of always what we're trying to do.
You're succeeding.
What I liked about this one is it was kind of timely to, I mean, basketball's crazy all year long, but especially now we're hitting March Madness, so it felt like timely. And then I was really proud just watching it now where you're like, oh, we did that 2 weeks ago with Hope, and now we could do that too, like this Diane making this little film thing, and different muscle for us too in terms of the documentary style. So we're proud of it for that reason, so we're glad it's coming up after Hope.
You know, and what I really liked about this episode too, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this as well, we do see most of the episodes told from Dre's point of view, and he pretty much narrates it. I felt like we got a lot, it was kind of told from Marsai's point of view this time, so will there be some, will that happen a little bit more, or can we expect that going forward sometimes? Because I know the show is through his eyes, and from the African-American man, Dad's point of view.
I mean, it's Dre's show. You know, it's told through.
You heard that?
You hear that? You hear that? You hear that, young lady? Okay.
One and done. One and done.
One and done is that what you said?
Thank you, Nichelle.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Thank you.
I mean,
had to bring it up.
ultimately, I feel like this story is Dre's story, you know, and told through Dre's point of view. But I think a television show is like a baby. You know, you have this baby, and you're like, he's going to be a quarterback, and then he grows up.
Really?
And he wants to do anything he wants to do. You know, he becomes, and we're seeing that these amazing actors are bringing life and breathing life into the show, and we're growing with it. So I think, Tracy's character in particular has redefined what a television mom is. And I feel like a lot of times the stories are shifting in some aspects to a little bit more angle to where Tracy's at. At the same time, all of our young actors are showing us that they are growing on their own and they can hold storylines completely on their own. I think that it's, at its conceit, it's still through the eyes of Dre. It comes from a father who's sort of, he's the guy in the middle. He's trying to not be a relic, but at the same time, not give away what he believes in to this new world that his kids are in. And he's trying to keep up with everybody all around him. I think that's important to sort of have one particular point of view the story's told through. So sure, I think that we might play with it, but in general, that's not our plan going forward.
Tracy and Anthony, I want to ask you guys, do you feel like in this season that you really have started to hit your stride? I know from a viewer standpoint, I feel that way, and I don't know if it's just the writing or the directing or the what, but everything seems like it's really kind of ramped up and rolling along now.
Tracy hit me 3 weeks ago.
I think it was 4.
4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago.
Like physically?
Oh,
it was a 1, 2, 3.
gave me a 3-piece to the heart.
It was a boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And we're not going to mention the word that she used, but the initials were MF.
Oh no.
So yeah.
And hold on, keep in mind, he said Tracy. He did not say Bo.
Yeah.
Tracy.
Yeah. hit me,
Okay,
yeah.
backstory. You gotta give it.
No, I just tell you, I think we hit our stride when she hit me. That's what I'm getting at.
I think Anthony started the show striding. I think it's normal though. I mean, we've been together for a while. The writers have been together for a while. We as a cast have been together. We've been working together for a while, and there's a comfort level. There's an ease. You fall into the character naturally, whereas before we were finding it. You know, so we know each other. There's a natural rapport.
The kids are all nodding their head.
Yeah,
You guys
there's
agree?
a natural rapport between all of us that's just here now. That it's nice to hear that it's coming across that way. I mean, we're certainly having fun, except for when I'm punching Anthony.
I was gonna say, we gotta know. I mean, don't you all want to know now? Why did you clock him?
There's 2 conclusions to the story. Both are not true. Either I'm crazy or Anthony's lying. Neither are true, but I did, in fact, punch him very hard. All I know is I can take care of myself now. I didn't know I had such strength or ability, but
do,
apparently
sweetheart.
in
You
self-defense class they tell you a flurry of punches and a loud noise.
Did anyone else here witness this assault?
It's on camera.
It's on film. Oh no, we got it.
Yeah.
I love it.
We'll leave that alone.
We'll leave it alone.
And in front of everyone, I'll say, again, I'm so sorry.
I love this.
I might have deserved it.
He probably did deserve it.
No,
what do
not
you all
the-
think? Yeah.
Not in the moment.
Not
Maybe
for that reason.
maybe for past offenses.
I deserved it for something 15 years ago. Not in that moment, I didn't.
We digress, please.
Okay, so can we talk a little bit about hope? Because I know everybody in here felt something when they watched that episode, felt something serious. I know I did. Yeah, everyone, you agree? Yeah, absolutely. I just want to ask Anthony, did you feel like, and maybe this is the wrong person to ask because I think that you're a push the envelope kind of guy, but did you ever feel like that it could be too risky or too edgy to do this early in the inception of the show an episode like that?
No, not at all. You know, Kenya and I and Jonathan, everybody up here, we pride ourselves in dealing with divisive topics and bringing people together that wouldn't normally have the same ideology and sparking that conversation. I've been a victim of police brutality, so I know firsthand what that's like. And these are stories that we've committed to tell. We pride ourselves on being topical and timely in dealing with the issues within our community and what's going on in society. And so I don't think we're pushing the envelope. I just think we're, just telling the truth.
There were so many things about this episode that kind of flipped it for me, some things I didn't expect. One of the things that I thought was really brilliant and that I loved was that Junior was the one who kind of brought a real relevance with the Ta-Nehisi Coates book and introduced everybody to it when we don't necessarily see him like that. I thought that was brilliant. I thought it was really, really good. Marcus, were there real-world issues that you learned doing this episode?
I definitely think that there was a lot of things that I learned from the episode, but it's kind of hard not to hear about this kind of stuff when it happens every single day. And my father likes to watch CNN, so I see a lot more of it.
Good man.
So I definitely learned a lot of things about police brutality. And I think what's really cool about Blackish, we were able to start a conversation in people's households. They were able to talk to their children about police brutality because we gave them the information, we gave them the evidence, and then they came to their own conclusions, and I think that's what it's all about over here at Blackish.
That's a good point. I was going to ask, and I'll ask it to Jennifer. Do you think that doing an episode like that, were you trying to make a statement, or were you just trying to start a conversation like Marcus was talking about?
Well, I always say that the writers are the stars of Blackish. I love you, Anthony and Tracy. The writers. Well, it's got to come from the written word first. But, they have a way of mixing the chemistry of bringing all the opinions. Therefore, we're not preaching.
Right.
We're not even teaching. We're just sharing. And in that way of addressing these current day issues, people will listen because they're going to hear what they feel also in there somewhere. And also, you get to laugh, and laughter being the greatest healer, the highest frequency, you know. I think magic is happening with Blackish.
Yeah, because when you pulled that Crown Royal bag full of change out, I lost it.
When what?
When you pulled the Crown Royal bag full of
Oh
change
my
out,
God, precious metal.
Right, money. I was done. Because I think in all of our households, we had that Crown Royal bag full of change, right? Absolutely. Go ahead.
Still got it.
Anthony said had.
Anthony still has it. You know, also, I think that one of the things I thought, just looking at it kind of from the mind of someone who covers this industry a lot, I thought it was brilliant that this whole episode was shot in one room. No one ever left. And it wasn't apparent on first watch, but when you go back, and I'm like, wait a minute, they're just all in this, nobody ever leaves, we don't see it, we just all see this one room. I know you love Norman Lear. Was that a nod to Norman Lear, this type of episode, that style, and also, you know, tackling an issue like that head on?
I think the whole show in general is a nod to sort of, you know, we're a little derivative of what Lear and people were doing. It's so interesting to me that they were doing shows 30, 40 years ago that were much more impactful and really honest than we're doing now. And it seems like that's counterintuitive to where we haven't grown. It seems like we've digressed a little bit. I feel like when we wrote that actually came from a situation in my home. Something very similar to that happened. I think Marcus actually said exactly for me what we wanted to do was, I agree with Anthony. One thing I will say a little different. We don't really try to be topical. You know, a lot of things just happen to be topical, and that's a happy accident in that, sometime we talked, like we had an episode about spanking, and at the same time the Adrian Peterson thing came up, and it wasn't that we're not Law and Order, we're not ripping from the headlines, we're having real specific conversations what this family would actually have. We're trying to do them at a pace as the family would grow, and we're trying to do it, and it just happens to be that this is the world we're living in, and it's reflective of what's going on. And as much as, I'm a huge, supporter of Black Lives Matter and things like that, this wasn't the Black Lives Matter episode. It wasn't really even started about police brutality. We thought that was such a relevant conversation for a family to have. And what the real topic of it is that we live in a time right now where, as parents, we can't turn off the television. We can't stop our kids from having phones and computers. 24-hour news, it's right there. And how do you have these conversations with so much bad happening in the world? How do you have these conversations with your children and not change or ruin or scorch the earth for what their future is going to be? But at the same time, as a parent, our job is to make sure the experiences that we've had, our children don't step in those same potholes. And so it's a really delicate balance. And I think the thing that Marcus said that I really feel like we do so well, and Jennifer said as well, is that so often minority groups and women and LGBT and things like that, we're put into this niche where people feel like we're a monolithic voice. We've built this family and constructed it. Generationally, there's a lot of different generations. There's different sides, different people have different points of view. And we really try to lay out our feelings and give people topics to think about and laugh while they're doing it. And at the same time, if we can do that and make people walk away and have a conversation, and in an overwhelming sense, like it sometimes chokes me up, the way that hope was received, that's what we prayed that would happen, was that it would really spark conversations for everybody about having to have hard talks, about police brutality, about differences in our country. Why can't we disagree anymore?
Right.
Why can't we have open conversations? And why are we so afraid to exit a conversation different than we enter it? That's such a place that we're at. And so that's what we try to do with the show, is we never really land in a particular, this is what you should do, but we open up the conversation that hopefully sparks enough thought to make you go and laugh and spread it around your friends and family.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think, like Jennifer said, the writing is so exceptional on the show, and there's a willingness to, I had to take a step back on Hope because my character's point of view had slightly a different point of view than I did. And one of the things that I really got to learn and realize comes from how good the writing is on the show, that the show itself is like an individual. We have a nuanced point of view about things. We might have a lot of differing opinions. That's how we sort something through. But the show itself is one thing. So you get to pull that apart. And I think that you guys are genius in the way. You're welcome.
Well, we know Jonathan's a genius. 5-time champion. That goes without saying.
In the way you kind of pull this apart, and you said, like, our show is based in love. So this is a family that loves each other. So and it's character-based. So you've made these people, each of us, have such a strong point of view that then you can lay something over that person that it allows us to try things on as a family, and all in this context of love, that we get to do things that in our culture we aren't really allowed to do. And you guys do it so well, and it really does offer, even me, you know, as an actress, I got to learn something about a different point of view because you're trying something on that's so wonderfully pulled apart.
A couple more things about this issue. You talked about the writing, Tracy, and can we talk about Anthony Anderson's monologue in that episode?
Yeah.
Brilliant, right? Brilliant. I mean, it went viral immediately. It was so powerful, and it struck, I think, so many people because I had that same feeling that day. And I think a lot of us did when they got out of the car. I was sitting there so happy, but at the same time saying, please just get back in
the car.
Jesus, just get back in the car. And so when he said that and it came out of my mouth, I'm like, whoa, 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 I felt that same way. Anthony, when you were doing that scene, did you feel it then, or did you just, because so many people said to me, oh, I felt like he wasn't even acting, like he just stopped acting at that point and it just came out of him.
Well, that's exactly what happened. You know, to say, you know, just to piggyback what Tracy and Jennifer said, you know, I can only be as powerful as the words on the page. And I just became a vessel for it, you know. So, yeah, I like to think that I'm never acting, you know, when you guys see us on that screen, that we're just being. But I felt connected to that moment because just like yourself and everybody up here and everybody in this room, that's exactly what we felt. You know, it was like, get your ass back in the car.
Right. Quit playing.
Yeah, let's get to the White House first. Then you can walk around free.
Right.
But I was just living in that moment and reliving the moment that I had. That was, you know, that wasn't unlike anybody else on that particular day.
And in that moment, this is something that I thought was really beautiful about the way you guys set that moment up. He wasn't talking. He was talking to his wife.
Right.
He was talking to his family. So it wasn't this like presentational moment.
Right.
It was an intimate moment. And it was set up in a relationship between a family that we've earned over time, both as actors and for the audience as a show. You know, there was a safety there that was set up between this family that we were intimately inside there with them. So you were seeing something really real, you know?
That was
go ahead.
the mindset behind the one room. You know, we had this really great director, Beth McCarthy-Miller, come. You know, and Jonathan and I, when we were talking to our writers and we were going back and forth, and I really kept saying, like, I want it to feel claustrophobic. You know, I want it to feel like you are stepping into, you're peeking in on a family's conversation.
That's how we felt. Yeah.
And, you know, I think, you know, it's a credit to the actors and to the writers and, you know, to the crew because they had to keep that energy up. You know, and the thing that we kept trying to do is that we had to balance the comedy. You know, and Yara had a really hard role in that because she was playing a lot of which reminded me of my daughter Kaylee and things like that. Some, like sort of almost apathetic teenager, but they're not. They're experiencing everything, but they're experiencing so much that they can't emote in the same way. You know, and she was really going through this, and you know, she gets to the point where she turns the family because she seems so out of it. You know, but she can't be out of it. She's more in it than all of us. But it's like, it's almost like stimulus overload. Yeah. You know, like what do they actually respond to because they're going through so much?
You're right. I think that was a turning point in the episode when Zoe breaks. You know, everybody kind of says, whoa, wait a minute, because this isn't, you know what I'm saying? It's not who we think it is. So and I know you're very invested in societal issues as well, so you were bringing another level to this.
Right. I mean, I'm so grateful to both Kenya and Jonathan that Zoe had a voice in this episode, because I think I could relate to it as a teenager just because we're always so connected with social media. It's like, well, I followed the person that just got punched by that policeman, and I was in a direct message with that person, and it may seem like such a trivial or peripheral connection, but we feel nonetheless connected. So when these things happen, it is as though we are experiencing them or living vicariously through all of these people that we've connected with, and to express that on the show was so special. And just on another note, it was so surreal to experience the episode as we were watching it, because I have an 8-year-old brother. And so as we were watching it, he's going through the curious phase where he was like, what's a Hitler? And how does Romeo and Juliet end? And just watching this episode, one of his first questions, and I made sure that he wrote all of his questions down so we could start a conversation, but he was like, well, what happened to Trayvon Martin? What happened to Eric Garner? And it was like weird, because even watching this episode, I don't know how to answer him.
Right.
Because I don't want to break his reality of Minecraft and like bouncing.
And that was the dance you had to do for Jack and Diane throughout the whole episode as well. And I agree, it's the push and pull. How much do we tell our kids? How much do we give them the real world, right away, and when they just may not even really get it? I thought that was so, so powerful.
And I think a level of that Marsai and Miles brought as Jack and Diane is that they kind of know more than they're letting on as well, and they're part of this dance of like, how do we talk about this in the family? How do we process within this family with all this love and all this, and honesty? And I think they're part of that as well. Is like they're playing their roles as the children who need to be taken through this experience.
Kind of last thing about this episode that really struck me and stood out, because you guys are talking so much about the word and how and what was written, and I agree, but I think that the unspoken moments
Was how to choose the menu.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Chipotle. We have changed. Chipotle. Which was it? You couldn't go to, I was screaming, no, don't go to Chipotle. But no, seriously, the unspoken words, and in particular Tracy, her facial expressions took it to another level for me. And even just so much as just a touch that she had, or when someone walked, it was amazing for me. It really, really was.
You know, when the night I watched Hope, my daughter crawled into bed with me, and she cried at one point, but I cried when the two babies said, is anybody going to tell us what's going on?
What's going on? Mm-hmm.
And I realized I had to tell my own daughter what's going on. See those people in the front line at in the civil rights marches that took the hoses and the dogs? You know, we didn't know. I had to tell my daughter I didn't think she would have to fight as hard as we did, you see. So it was very, very, that the episode was so richly, once again, written.
Yeah.
So that you could come from every aspect, from every opinion. I mean, the chemistry between Tracy and Anthony in that I remember when you had questions about Rainbow's resolve after his speech, and the acting there with no words that you did was so powerful, and the directing and coming in with the slow move in. It was just very powerful. So here we are, we have these beautiful children who are asking, is anybody gonna tell us what's going on? And what I believe Kenya Barris and Jonathan, I think they're telling them what's going on. I think this show is telling a lot of people what's going on and allowing them to laugh at the same time. Yeah. And it's magic.
Jennifer, why do you...
Are you getting ready to mess with me?
Yeah, you know he is.
But why do you talk as if your daughter is 13? She's 47.
Go hit him.
Go hit him.
Go hit him.
With grandbabies of her own.
Yeah, that's my baby right there.
I think she
My
was saying
baby.
when she got back in the civil rights.
No, it don't.
Michelle.
Your daughter's almost 50.
The point is, it doesn't matter what age you are. You know, still growing on, baby.
Your daughter just had hip surgery. That's why she crawled in the bed with you.
Meet
wanted to say that the day after, when I came to work after that episode aired, I saw Dion Cole, who we all wish were here, obviously.
Yes, we miss Charlie.
Yeah. And so Dion, you know, he is doing our show, and he's doing about 17 other things in Hollywood. But one of the things he does, he travels the country doing stand-up. And I said, so what was it like? Because he just come back from Houston or Sacramento, someplace. He just travels all around. And he said, shit got real. You know, Dion, he said there was a reverb with that show that was happening. And, you know, for me, it made me realize that when I was a kid, the best show on TV was All in the Family. Yeah. And, you know, that episode changed, it upped the stakes for what we do, because it made us socially relevant in a way that we had been, but not to the depth that we were. And suddenly this show is like a Norman Lear show. And what it means for us as a cast, you cannot have a show mean that and then, you know, Anthony and Tracy have to step up their game and have to, no, but it's true, because when it's funny, you can be funny. We know that they can be funny, but then you have to have those earned moments and pay them off, and they kick ass. So it brings the writing brings everyone's game up. We don't have to be serious, but we can be goofy as hell.
Can I just say one thing about the writing of the episode? The staff helped, we talked about the story area, and the staff helped figure out some of the moves in the story, but it was really Kenya.
I was going to say, you wrote it, right? Over
Christmas, he went off with a story, and we knew it was going to be a hard one to write, and he was obviously the only person who could write it. And we didn't really change anything when his draft came in. A couple of jokes here and there, but he handed it, you know, we came back on January 6th, and I don't know how he found the time to do it because he has so much going on, but he handed it in, and he was like, I don't know. And he was like, I know, this is really good.
Yeah.
This is very good. Walked in and he said, I'm a genius. And then he ran out the room. Yes, he just threw it. And he said, pick it up, you Coley.
Anthony got mad at me during one of the read-throughs of Hope, the episode, because after that speech, he read it from the script. After Anthony read it from the script, I kept looking over at Kenya going, right, go on, right, baby. Right, baby. You ain't right, baby. Right, baby. And Anthony was like, you're going to have to stop that, Jennifer. I said, oh, no, I can't.
Can I kind of jump on that? Because whenever I see Jennifer, first of all, I love all the names that she has for Rainbow, Tracy's character. My favorite, though, is Hybrid. When Anthony was giving Zoe the car, she was like, stay down, Hybrid. I'm like, wow.
Lucifer's curly-haired Laura, Ray Don Chong. What else have I got? I mean, way to bring it down to nothing.
Are they all written, or Jennifer, do you pull them out?
I have never added a word.
No.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. You may have never added a name to Rainbow, but you've added some words.
And a ooh, 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 ooh.
I've started calling my brother.
Don't talk about what you ain't added.
All right, let me clarify.
Now, that's not true.
I think we have our answer. Now, listen, I love, one of the other things I love about this cast is the fact that you make me laugh in moments when I don't think I'm supposed to be laughing, and afterwards I feel bad because I'm laughing. And that happens so much in the episode of the N-word, because I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be laughing at any of this. I laughed at all of it, and I actually want to ask the little ones, especially Miles, for that episode. My heart kind of went out because I kept saying, I don't want that baby to have to, I don't want him to have to say it. I don't want him to have to. Did you feel weird at all, Miles, or did you just say, oh, heck no, I'm here to play. I'm here today?
It kind of felt weird because I'm not really used to that, so it takes some time getting used to. But after a while, I kind of got the
And then you went home and your mom and your daddy said never again.
Yeah.
Did you talk to your parents about it, or did you talk to anyone about it, Kenya, or anyone about, like, how do I do this? How do I go there?
I think I did. I think I did.
He warmed up pretty quick.
He did.
He's being bashful. It became his nickname that entire week.
Oh no, Anthony!
The weird part was that I didn't really like ask my parents. They asked me like 500 times during that. Like if I was like, "Are you okay?" and I was like, "Yeah, Mom." Okay.
I want to say this about Miles. I mean, Yara and Marcus are young lady and young man. They're young adults, but they're also kids. And I've been working, writing 7. I've been in this industry for 20 years, and I have never met a group of young actors who are as grounded people and good people as our kids. Like, and I
love that.
oftentimes I will say, like, and Yara growing up will call me and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with that. And Miles will say it, Marcos will tell me things, and I'm like, that's right, you speak up, you know what I'm saying? And it really is a testament to, so often you see kids in this, and their parents are like, oh, my baby's a star. And they throw them in there, but these kids come from families.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we have, because of that, Anthony and I, when we first started this show, and Tracy has become their mom, and Groff, and these are all of our kids, and like, we honestly feel like a family, but I am so proud of who they are as people every day. And because of that, I've been able to get a chance to watch them all grow. It came in, and some people were just like, there were some things that people did better than others, but they have all shaped the characters that you're seeing on television because they're putting the work in. They're all getting excellent grades in school. They all do, family events on the weekends.
Yeah.
They sit there, and I fear as they grow and the show gets success, and we're going to see them, because I always, say, like, they're going to be a movie star, they're going to be this. And I fear, I just want them to have their childhood, and I think that they're unbelievably still being able to have it on the show. And it's reflective in what the kids that they play on this, because they're not mannish, they're not precocious. Even Kayla, who people are like, she's an old soul, and she is old soul, but she is the sweetest little girl, and she still gets to be a little girl, and it comes out, in her words, and I think it's a testament to their parents.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think all their parents deserve a round of applause. Absolutely. I can attest to what you say about Kayla, because she was my neighbor for a long time, and before I ever really knew these guys, seriously, I knew she was on the show. And the thing that struck me was, it made me so happy, because I'm like, she's still just a little girl. She's outside playing and having a good time. And I always thought, gosh, she's so cute, and she's just still a little girl and having a good time. So you're very right. And I want to ask you, little girl, little miss, first of all, I love the dynamic between, because we've been talking so much about chemistry up here, and I love the dynamic between you and Miles. Do people in real life think that you're twins? Do they think that you guys are brother and sister, really? Yeah.
Yeah. One time we're at Disney World or something, and since usually they wouldn't think all the kids would be together, they actually thought that we were actually brothers and sisters. Yeah. So they were like, oh my God, I didn't know that you were brothers and sisters. Wait, and they just started just going crazy that they actually thought we were brothers and sisters. And it was kind of weird, because they just went off blabbing that we're related, and I was like, it was so funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I go back to the N-word episode for a second? Because I heard in a lot of interviews, Anthony, that you did, you said, you used the word, but you were kind of having a bit of an epiphany. And since you had been to Africa, you decided you wanted to stop. So how's that going?
We can all answer that for you. No, go ahead.
Real in the chair, gonna put me on the spot like that, huh?
We're waiting.
I have not stopped.
Okay.
I have not stopped. But I don't think it's. a great word to use. I mean, but I come from an era where this may just sound just crazy, but we use it as a term of endearment. And you can tell by the way that it's said to whomever what your intent behind it is within our community. I try not to say it, but I do. I'm not afraid to say. I'm proud to use the word.
Oh, God. Here we go.
I would use it right now.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Not going to use it.
No, but and to back Anthony up, I think that one of the reasons that we wrote that was I personally feel that so many things are culturally appropriated from every culture, and I think that's one of the things that makes America great is that we're a mixing pot and a layering of all the best things. But there are so many things that have been, and I can only speak for myself, that have been appropriated from our culture that become just part of the zeitgeist, and eventually we lose credit for it. I just was reading something about Alexander Pushkin, who I didn't know this, is a black poet, Russian poet, very responsible for the entire Russian language. You know what I'm saying? Never given credit for that. You know what I'm saying? Not just for the poetry. He had a lot of the part of the dialect and the dialogue or whatever. And I think that that word, although it has an ugly, horrible history to it, I think the generation that Anthony and I grew up, we took it back in some aspects in terms of a term of endearment. And for myself, and that's why we put it in the terms of the show, that everyone had a different opinion and we didn't land for anyone to say it. But I do think it's a badge, you know what I'm saying, for me and for my generation. A lot of it was, I do think that it can be used in an ignorant sense, you know what I'm saying, but I do think that there is a little bit of a tribal badge that goes to it, to say, I'm not gonna let you, that's the one word you can't appropriate. You know, and it came from, the idea of it came from my daughter had gotten her phone taken, and I looked at her phone, and I was going through a string of texts, and I'm like, there were people saying it, I'm like, Asher shouldn't be saying this.
Asher just got put on blast.
I don't think Asher should be saying this. And she was like, why, Dad? It's just a word. It's just like, and what I realized is that the younger generation, you know, and I'm a defender of all artists' rights, but it's sort of hard when you have rap, which I completely love, but you have rap is sold for mass marketed consumption, and every other word has it in there. And to tell people you can buy the music, but you can't say the word. That's like someone buying your book and you say, but you can't read these pages. You know, and so it's kind of like the battle back and forth between what they are responsible for and what they're not. And so it started, I didn't have the answer. And I kind of feel like those are the best stories. Jonathan and I always lean into the best stories where we don't really know the answer, but we know how Dre might feel, or we know how Rainbow might feel, or we know how Zoe might feel, or you know, or Kayla and Miles or Marcus. We know how someone might feel, Ruby. And you know, that's sort of the place. And it started, we're not talking a lot to, you know, Peter and Jeff, but a big part of the show, which these guys do an amazing job of, is going to Stevens and Lido. And
I was going there next.
Yes.
Take me there.
No,
take us there.
No, is that that was the gun pulling out episode?
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
You know, and everyone raises fair questions. You know what I'm saying about it. And the thing that when we constructed that office place was that it was the place that Dre gets to go and hear the world's point of view.
Exactly.
You know, and a lot of times that spirals him out, or a lot of times it feeds him to come back and do something else. But those guys are so unbelievably talented. Jonathan, I'll call it a chorus of.
They are.
That's the play. You know, so few shows have been able to do workplace and home, and we somehow have figured it out. I don't know if we'll continue to do it, but we somehow figured out.
What now? What?
He said it's
good. We're good.
Yeah.
No, but they go and they're able to, which seems like just a bunch of crazy jokes, audibilize the zaniness of the world. You know, sometimes the things that you hear in the world, you're like, I can't believe I'm hearing this.
Right.
But they're able to kind of put it out there, and they're so funny that you forget that they're putting things out there that people really think.
Oh my God, when he said, you know what word I miss? Colored. I was like, whoa! But the funny thing is because I grew up with neighbors, a white couple, who still called us colored.
My grandmother.
They were, and I said, that happens, it happens. But I wanted to ask Jeff, and I thank you for leading me there. You know, I saw a post that you posted on social. I think it was in response to Blackish getting picked up for season 3. Yeah. And you talked about, I think it was to Kenya, and you talked about that this opportunity's kind of changed your life and changed your view in a lot of ways. How has it done that for you? Because you guys, I think you do have one of the hardest jobs of bringing that kind of punch every single time you're on the screen, and it may not be every episode.
Ow. Is this where the Oscars take place? Because that's amazing.
It is.
Are we on the
You two would be the only ones
I would
up
be,
here,
I mean,
though.
yeah.
Did I do that?
You're amazing.
Sorry. Sorry about it.
Those views are not of entertainment. Oh my God.
That's timing, girl. That was timing.
Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
No, people call me Josh a lot on set, and people forget that my name is Jeff, and I'm wondering if that's the reason that I kind of am the same as my character. I'm positive that Anthony didn't know who I was till halfway through. See, I'm positive he did not know my name was Jeff. He would call me Josh all the time, and like Dion and Peter would like uncomfortably move, and one day Dion was like, his name's Jeff Meacham. He's like, I know, but I think he thought I was Josh. Legitimately. I mean, to answer that question, it's more, I think it's more selfish for me that it changed my life because, you know, I was like so many actors. I mean, this has nothing to do with the show. It's just being an actor. And, you know, my world was auditioning for commercials and, you know, hopefully booking a guest star on, you know, a show no one had, you know, whatever. And then to come on this and to book the Untitled Anthony Anderson project, and you're like, that's the funny guy for Me, Myself, and Irene. That's awesome.
Thank you, Josh.
Well played, Anthony. Well played. Well played.
So I mean, and then to be in this position, it's a dream come true, you know? Like like I said, I was there, and now I get to send my kids to the same private school that Lawrence gets to send his
Nice.
kids to.
Keeping up with the Fishburne.
I know we're going to go to the audience, but I do want to ask real quick. Because we talked a lot about chemistry, and I do think that the chemistry between Anthony and Tracy on screen is beyond. I mean, it really, really is. But I want to ask, and I know you guys love each other so much, but is it true that, Tracy, you didn't really care for Anthony too much before you booked this role? And what changed?
I hated him.
What?
She did.
I totally did, and I had justified reason. I will say this, I have described Anthony this way.
You make one fart
stop.
joke.
No, you know it's more than that. Just stop. I will describe Anthony this way. I've said it in front of you. You're okay with it. Anthony has a heart of gold, but it's covered in shards of glass.
Oh.
No, I'm serious. And and if you come at him, you will get cut. And if you're somebody who thinks you can say like, well, I didn't like that you did that, you'll only get cut more. But if you make it to the chocolate Santa, it's pretty fantastic in there.
Yes, it is.
And I will tell you that because of Anthony, I have been able to stretch in ways as an actor. I have a safety net with Anthony, and I'm gonna cry. Okay, there's no one I would rather work with. There's a respect, there's a.
And you know, I feel the same way about you.
Oh, I love that.
No,
is it true that you
genuine.
told every other actress to go home after Tracy came and auditioned?
While I was in there.
I did.
What was it? I mean, what happened?
This happened. What you see every week on our show happened, and Tracy came in. We had auditions on Valentine's Day. I had a rose for every actress who came in.
Oh, look out! Look at him! Look at him! See?
What a friggin' bag of roses. Feels so special. He picked one rose out of the bag for me.
Not like I got them at Conroy's. All right, I went to Mark's Garden and spent some money on them roses. But halfway through, halfway through the audition, Tracy came in. And like I said, Tracy and I have known each other for close to 15 years, and I knew she really didn't care for me. Rightfully so at that point. But she came in and nailed both scenes. And I turned to her, and I told her to go out there and tell them other heifers they can go home.
Not heifers. Not heifers.
Because the job is yours.
Did you do it? Did you go out there and say, everybody go home?
I've been in this business long enough. I know that doesn't mean anything. I could have easily not gotten the job.
This time.
Yeah, I meant it. I meant it.
He meant it.
And that's why we're here, because, you know, there's not only is there magic between Tracy and I, there's magic that Tracy brings.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, yes, come on, stop
Very
it.
true.
And she brought that magic into her audition to the point where I was like, no, it's yours.
I think she's one of the best doing physical comedy today. I really agree. We're going to go to the audience because they're getting angry with me because we need to go to the audience.
But before we go to the audience, I want to, Peter, what the hell do you have wrapped around your neck? He is Billy Stevens from Stevens and Lito. That's him.
So my wife is half French. And when I went to said, oh, we're going to the PaleyFest, I said, I'll just wear jeans and the shirt. She said, no, you effing won't. You will not. So I'm wearing everything she bought me in Paris.
Okay.
Okay?
Anthony.
All right, Giuseppe.
It's about protecting my heritage.
So
for
there.
my wife.
I love it. Okay, so I know I'm looking to see who we have. Could we do, ma'am, right here in the third row with your hand up.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Chris Williams from Dallas, Texas. Okay, so I love the show. Comment is the title kind of threw me off, but I support Black theater, and I thought I've got to give it one episode, and that one episode led me to watch every single episode. Nice. So amazing work, all of you. As a person who just started taking acting classes 2 months ago, and seeing the variety of age in the cast, what advice do you have about work ethic? As a performer, doing this for years, I've seen people who practice every day and really commit to their craft, and people who never practice at all. So my question is kind of to all of you, just what is it about work ethic that you've seen in the industry, both the good and the bad?
Why are you looking down here? I mean, I'll tell you this much. I can just say, you know, this job is, how could this not be the most fun job on the planet?
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous to not think of it as anything else, that we're having an absolute great time. We're making comedy and having a great time. Anthony allows us to have a great time because he knows all of, Anthony, he makes fun of me all the time because I never remember my lines, and I have like 2. He makes fun of me all day. He takes my script, he throws it away. Anthony knows all of our lines. He knows everybody. He's tired and he's exhausted. Know your lines is the answer. Do your job, do your job, and then you can enjoy everything else because you've already done your job.
Who breaks the most up here? Who's the person who breaks the most when they're not supposed to be
Maybe.
Miles is like,
I've figured out ways to stop myself from breaking, and it just works with my character. I'll bite my tongue and just look like really angry.
That's I love it. Right here in the second row, the lady with her hand up right there. I love that, by the way.
Also, Anthony sets an amazing tone. Anthony has a ton on his plate with lines in every scene, nonstop. He has an incredible memory. But Anthony is an incredible professional. He's a generous actor in a way that most actors aren't and most funny people aren't.
He's the best #1 on a call sheet
ever.
I've never.
No, it's true.
I've never worked, and you guys are all great, but to be completely honest with you, I've never worked with an actor as generous as Anthony.
I love that.
He honestly, he goes a lot of times to Stevens and Lido, and he's just giving them assist. You know what I'm saying? And it's his show, and with everyone else, like everybody has their moments and things like that. But in general, I think I've had two conversations the entire show.
Wow.
But Anthony, he'll pull me aside about things, but in general, he will protect his other actors. He'll call me about how they're feeling. He always will give away his own jokes for them. A big thing in writing is you never take a joke away from an actor. We take them all the time, or he'll suggest jokes to go, and I'll say that does for me, for all the whatever sharded glass or whatever they're being saying. I haven't really seen that. I know Anthony is, he's from Compton, so he has his stuff.
Right.
But
Right. Got his stuff.
Don't act like he doesn't have shards of glass.
but he is. I don't even know if everyone ever understands it. The amount of generosity that he gives.
And I'll say too that for Anthony, he shows up in that office, and not only does he know his words, but he allows everyone, like Kenya said, he's our straight man, because he has to come there while we're insane.
Yes.
That is not easy to do, because in comedy world, you always want to pop a joke and do it. And he does it with 30 years I've been doing this, and I've never been with someone like Anthony.
Oh.
He just...
Special person.
For the kids to be able to learn, going down the line, Anthony's the most generous, Tracy's the most innately talented, physically can take with her face and expressions and do things that no one else on this planet can do. Yara has an ability to, Zoe is very far from who Yara is.
Right.
And she has an ability to hone and master that role and make it become, and the growth that I have seen from her, I'm saying, I've said this before, we were like, oh, she's beautiful, and she's gonna be this sort of apathetic daughter. It was like we started writing whole episodes because we have seen that she gave voice to a generation of kids that was not there. I think Marcus is a comedic genius.
So good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think if I was 15, he would be my boo. I love him. Love him.
The stuff that he sometimes is, he'll do these faces that it's just like, where did that come from? I feel like Miles is my guy. Like, that is my boy. And the way that the purity that he brings to that character, it's so weird because he has this like wholesome purity that brings the character, but at the other time, he's a little mischievous.
Sinister.
And he brings it in a way and he's so talented, he's an amazing dancer. Just all that is bundled into that big smile.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on, Kayla.
Come on.
It is so good. It's been so fun to watch since the day that she came in, to watch her just work.
Yeah.
To watch her make it happen, to watch this little person who's, like we've all said, has been here before. But there's a scene in Hope where she just is looking like people, and she just kind of does this look, and it's like, oh my God, we can drop the lines because now we can save time because she's able to do that. And just to watch her grow. And Jennifer is, and I say this with Jennifer, and I'll give her a clap. Jennifer is my heart, you know what I'm saying? And Jennifer is crazy. but she is a master. And she is often in her own show. And I would have it no other way. I would have it no other way.
Hell, she wouldn't have it any other way.
I would have it. I would defend that own show that she's playing.
I will defend that.
I will. Jonathan and I had a conversation with a very high-ranking network person. Was saying something. We were like, we disagree respectfully. Like we love what she does.
Yes,
she brings it. There's things that like we were like, no dialogue, and we don't want you to say the dialogue. And when I go into Stevens and Lido and all those guys, Dion's not here, but they each individually are just gems.
Yeah.
They each have their own role, and I feel like I honestly think I have the most talented cast in television.
I agree.
I really
Jennifer said earlier, and it was very kind, that the stars of Blackish are the writers, but I would say that the stars of Blackish are the stars of Blackish. It's incredible.
And to that extent, I see the writers. Why don't we make them stand up?
Yeah.
Very unattractive group.
I'll be back. You had a question. I'm sorry. Thank you for waiting.
This is great. This is
waiting.
great. My name is Shawnee Moore Weatherby. I am a writer, and my question is for
We're not
Kenya.
hiring.
I saw the fantastic stuff. I know you're not hiring.
Did you feel the shark?
You got it.
Just trying to get in the chocolate middle. That's all I'm saying. My question is for Kenya, Jonathan, and Anthony, and it's about how this went from your experiences in your brains onto the screen. Specifically, what was the pitch process like? And why did you decide that ABC was the right vehicle for this and not another network or one of the streamer services?
You know, Kenya and I are managed by the same manager, Brian Dobbins, and it was Brian and we were talking, and I don't know who brought it up, and he was like, "You don't know Kenya? Kenya, you don't know Anthony?" And so Kenya and I sat down and had a conversation about wanting to work together. We didn't know what we were going to do, and 5 minutes into the conversation, we threw business out of the window because we realized we had much more in common than we didn't. Kenya being from Inglewood, me being from Compton, both of us being first generation successful, both of us being the only African-American families that live in our neighborhood, you know, children born into privilege, private school. My son, not only was he the only chocolate drop in his class, he was the only chocolate drop in his grade for more than 3 years. And we talked about these experiences, and Kenya came to me a couple of weeks later and was like, "I got our show." and this is what you see right here. And the pitch process was just fun. And we went to every network, and everybody wanted it. But we felt that ABC was the right fit for us. Can you? I mean, you know.
Yeah, that's what, literally, only part that didn't quite happen is I had been trying to meet with Anthony because we had the same manager, and he was putting me off.
And you said he was generous.
When I finally got with Anthony, he was like, "You weren't ready for me."
Oh, God.
I did say that.
But no, we literally, Anthony, myself, and Lawrence went into the pitches. And, you know, if anybody's interested in being a writer, the one thing that I will say is tell your story. You know, some version of your story, because it's the story you know best, whether you know it or not. Figure out the story of how to tell your story to a specificity that is unsurpassed by any other, that someone cannot take it from you. Make it your story. We went in there and we told our story and tried to develop with talent. And having Anthony and Lawrence in the room, we went and did a play. You know, we went and literally they got to see the Pops Anthony relationship in the pitch, and everyone bought it. I don't think anyone passed. And
some couldn't afford it.
Some couldn't afford it, but everyone put an offer.
Hell now.
I think we sold it everywhere in the room.
Yeah.
And you know, it was ABC and Paulie. You know, I give them a lot of credit, and Jamila Hunter. I don't know if she's here, and Sami Favi, but you know, they said that they only wanted to do the show if we were going to be able to do it real. You know, we didn't know if it was words at the time, but I have to say, and I have no reason to say this, we're on the air now, they have never pushed us back from doing a story the way we wanted to do it.
You know, we really can't even say we're waiting for the other shoe to drop because the first one never dropped.
Right.
With this.
I agree.
You know, they championed the title of our show, Blackish. They got behind it from the beginning. Paul Lee championed the N-word episode. He's like, "You guys go make your show. I will deal with this." And that's what NBC has been for us.
ABC.
ABC. Oh! Think about my last job. They're letters. They're just letters. They're just letters.
Happens. We've got a couple questions. This lady right here, and then we'll come to you, sir. This lady right
Call somebody white.
Hello.
Damn.
I wrote mine down. My name is Cindy Clark. I don't have any questions. I just want to thank each of you for bringing such relevant and substantive topics to television. My family relates to every single episode, and you have facilitated socially crucial discussions in our household in such a lighthearted and effective manner, and I want to thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Anthony,
here. Just find the white lady and you just give it to her. You got it.
Hi, my name is Holly Bowser.
So can't get more whiter than Holly.
I'm so white. Straight from Ireland. So,
that is right.
I'm just a fan. I'm not like in the business at all, but I absolutely love the business and the behind the scenes and everything. But my friend and I have a question for Marsai. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, cool.
Yes, you did.
Girl, you bring it so much. We laugh so much. How much of that sass is you?
Okay.
I saw the head. Yeah.
Boom chakalaka.
Girl.
Well, well, I have a little bit of sass. I just have just a little bit. But if me and Diane were like best friends and we would just hang out, I wouldn't want to get her mad or anything. okay.
Get her mad.
But it's well.
We should ask your parents, probably.
Yes,
How much sass is her?
Yeah, but I just have a little bit of sass. I don't think I have too much sass.
No, she's very sweet.
I would agree with that.
She is. Look at those dimples. She's very,
Very sweet.
Yes, absolutely.
One of the things about Marsai, she's one of the most sensitive humans I've ever met. She's very aware of what everyone's feeling, and she's always like, are you okay? Or she's really a big-hearted human.
Love that. Oh.
And very intelligent. She's very intelligent, very smart.
They're all so smart. I just wanted to say, and I don't say that a lot, but I want to thank my family because this show they are here.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Come on.
Yeah, there they
The
are.
Barris tribe, stand up. All 26 of y'all stand up.
That is Rainbow. That's Cass. That's Bo.
The real rainbow, guys.
That's Leia, Lola, and Kaylee.
Aw.
That's my oldest.
Well, I see all these hands up, and I actually just got the word that we've got to wrap it up. Guys, I know this has been so much fun. I can't think of a better way to spend my Sunday afternoon. I've been laughing and having a great time. I hope you guys have had a great time. Please, let's really show the cast of Blackish some love.
One thing. We just want to say thank you from all of us.
Yes.
Honestly, because
Absolutely.
you guys, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, I don't know if I'm supposed to say Hispanic, Latino, but what?
Everyone.
Everyone. Honestly, like the people who come up to us and talk to us and express this, watch the show, the demographics, you guys have helped us all in our careers. You guys have helped us all to grow. And I think together, we're doing something different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it is us all together doing something different. And I think we're making a little bit of a change from a small comedy on ABC. I think we're actually making people start to talk and making other things start to change. So thank yourselves